In this video, we'll cover the process for automatically provisioning LG webOS displays with SAVI. This is a new, simpler process that now supports LG webOS version 6, including the WP600. Please note that to use the auto-discover feature with webOS version 6, your SAVI server needs to be on version 3.5. Since we'll be using the network to discover and provision the displays, the first thing to do is ensure your network is configured to supply DHCP addresses for all webOS displays in your AV network. You'll also need to make sure your SAVI server has been set with a static IP and that this is the final permanent address you intend to use for the project, since the SAVI app will refer to this IP to communicate with SAVI. Once your webOS 6 displays are connected to the network, power them on to begin the process. They need to be in factory condition before proceeding with the next steps. We no longer need to go through the Quick Start menu in order to discover the displays, making the process much quicker than with webOS version 4. If needed, perform a factory reset, power the display on, and immediately proceed to Creator. Again, do not perform any setup or configuration on the display itself, since SAVI will provision everything automatically. To start, click the Auto Discover tab within the Equipment section and look at the IP range listed. Ensure that this range is set to include the subnets where your webOS displays are, then you can hit Scan Now and wait for your webOS displays to appear in the list. Typically, this process takes about a minute, but with various factors like network size, it could take up to 5. You won't see anything on screen until they're discovered, so be patient while the scan takes place. Hitting Scan Now will stop the current scan and start again, so wait 5 minutes between hitting Scan Now to ensure this process has a chance to complete. Note that native SAVI products appear in this list much quicker than LG webOS displays, so don't worry, they will show up after about a minute. If any new devices are powered on or finish coming online after these 5 minutes, you can simply click the button again to start a new scan, and the displays should appear. Once your displays appear in the list, the next step is to select all that need provisioning and click Install SAVI App. After clicking the Install button, the automatic provisioning process will begin, which takes about 2 minutes, but it may take longer depending on the amount of displays you're provisioning. Once the app is finished installing, a 6-digit code should appear on the screen. You can now use this code to link the display with one in your project on the Canvas Edit page. For help with this process, see the Canvas display configuration video linked in the description below. It's important to note that if a display has been powered on but is left sitting on for an hour or more, it will change states. This will require a reboot in order to make the display discoverable again. Any displays that aren't discovered during the initial scan should be power cycled before starting a new scan to ensure that they're in the proper state. Also remember that any display with a currently installed SAVI app will not appear in this list. One thing to remember about the WP600 is that it's helpful to have its HDMI output connected to a screen so you can observe the status and see the code on the screen. If you're configuring the webOS boxes before installation and you don't have a display available, pay attention to the small LED on the back of the device. When power is connected, the LED will turn green, but will quickly turn red during the boot process. Once fully booted, the LED will stay red, but the device will be in a low power standby mode, meaning it won't show up during auto-discover. Simply press the power button either on the device, or if you have an IR receiver attached, you can use an IR remote. And note that LG accepts the number 0 as a discrete on command, allowing the user to send on to multiple IR receivers without toggling off on any previously powered on displays. The LED should turn green, indicating the device is fully powered on and ready to be discovered in a scan. If you're having trouble getting one or more webOS displays to discover, double-check the following. First, ensure your SAVI server is updated to version 3.5 or later. You can check this on the About page or here at the bottom while looking at the server configuration or updates page in Creator. A reboot of the SAVI server may also be helpful. Next, you want to verify the display has a good Ethernet connection, but you can also check that a good DHCP address has been assigned. Then ensure your IP range in Creator is set to include this. If the display does not have an Ethernet connection, or it cannot get a DHCP address, you'll need to begin other networking troubleshooting steps, like cable testing or checking your DHCP server. Also ensure that your webOS device uses webOS version 6. If you are using an older webOS display, like webOS 4, you can still auto-discover and provision from Creator, but you'll need to go through the quick step process on the display before auto-discover will work. Lastly, you can try rebooting the display, waiting at least 15 seconds, and then hitting Scan Now again, verifying that the IP range here is set to discover displays in the proper subnet. This concludes our video for the LG webOS 6 auto discovery process. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe for more Savvy training videos.